What is up, my dudes? We've got the Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2019 tournament going on. Today we've got Facebook Community Newsfeed versus Amazon FishingBoatV2. We're in the semi-finals of the competition, so it's almost over. And one thing you've noticed about this game that's already different is I'm playing in it, so I already know the outcome of this game. It's going to be annoying to keep the hype fest up, but I'll try my best, and I'll try my best not to spoil the outcome. But I think I think this is a good opportunity for myself to reflect on how this game went. I haven't watched this replay yet, but hopefully I can go through some of the things that were going through my head at the time. And let's hop into the draft. So the very first thing is there was a couple of heroes I really wanted to focus on in this draft, right? The big three is Clinks, Warlock, and Sand King. So I think those three heroes are super strong right now. And because we have first pick, I'm happy to ban two of them and then pick the third one. So it's something that we have control over. Amazon FishingBoatV2, they banned Nyx, and for good reason. Nyx has probably been one of our most successful heroes throughout the league. So I kind of expected them to ban Nyx. I'm a bit sad that we don't get to play Nyx, because I think ABC plays a really good Nyx, and it really helps our team get information and also just being able to follow up on ganks. So we kind of expected Nyx to get banned, but it's whatever. It's a bit sad still. So we've decided to take Clinks this game, and so the other hero that you ban pretty much most of the time is Mars. We don't have an offlane player, which, or at least in this current roster, Demozen, who's normally our offlane player, he's not usually available to play on Saturdays, so we usually have to run this current lineup of 5 that we have, where we don't really have an offlane player. So maybe plus CTY and GH are both mid players, and we kind of just stick maybe in the off lane, because GH is an immortal player, so we kind of just hope that he has a really good lane, can help us snowball. And they banned Warlock as well, so probably just seeing my history and seeing that I've been spamming Warlock. But also I played Warlock twice in the round before this against What's in Your Warlock from Capital One. And we actually also banned Morphling because they banned Warlock for us. So like I said, there was 3 heroes that we were thinking about, and if I didn't have to waste a ban on Warlock, I could use my final ban on Morphling. I'm pretty happy with how this draft opened up, because I was gonna ban Warlock, but they banned it for me, so I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. This is pretty good for us. And Morphling, last time we went up against FishingBoatV2 in the regular season, they had a last pick Morphling and completely fucked us over. So we don't want to end up in this situation. FishingBoatV2 have last pick this game, so it's very risky for us to leave Morphling in the pool. But then it's a question of when to ban. Also, following up from FishingBoatV2's series against Google Team A, which is a fantastic series. I very recommend you watch it when you have the time. We also wanted to ban Naga and Ember Spirit in the second phase. So we're going to open with Clinks as we planned. The Clockwork ban was a bit of a question mark, because I wasn't really sure why they banned Clockwork against us. But they opened with a Centaur IO combo, which is a little bit surprising. I wasn't sure about the IO pick. It doesn't seem like a very strong lane, because Centaur is usually pretty self-sufficient, and IO doesn't really contribute much to Centaur's ability to win the lane harder. The extra regen is nice for Centaur. I think you're better off getting a 4 position who's more aggressive on the map. So at this point, we're kind of not really sure what to go with to pair with the Clinks. I think we ended up going with Grimstroke here for a few reasons. Most notably because it's a free soulbind. If you just soulbind the IO, whoever is tethered to is probably gonna get soulbound with them. But this pick actually takes us quite a while to think of. I think I wasn't really prepared to figure out what lanes with Clinks, because we ran Clinks in a previous game, but we were also tri-laning, so it was kind of do we want a lane, a support to go with the Clinks, or you want him to solo? Because there's definitely a lot of benefits to Clinks getting a lot of solo farm early on, or a lot of levels early on. Once he gets to level 6, he has a lot of solo kill potential, but at the same time, he is not the strongest laner if he's outnumbered. He's very squishy, and generally you don't want to level Skeleton Walk early on. Maybe level 2, but definitely not level 1. You want the level 1 Searing Arrows for sure. So at this point, we were thinking we want to ban Naga and Ember. So we banned Naga first because it's just a pretty safe choice. I think the main thing is we're thinking about whether we should take Naga ourselves, because Naga's a pretty strong hero in general right now. I think she's very underrated. It just feels so difficult to pressure Naga, honestly. And the next ban we're thinking about is Ember. I think we're just gonna go with it. It's not too bad. And then for the next picks, we want to pick another support next who does pretty well with the Grimstroke, like someone who can combo with Grimstroke. They've banned the Doom, and I expected them to ban Lich next, which is pretty normal for if you're up against Grimstroke as well. So one of the problems with picking Grimstroke in this position is that these like natural Grimstroke combos get banned because it's pretty clear what you're going for. And Clinks isn't a very good hero to go with Grimstroke, right? Because you can start off with Skeleton Walk, I suppose, but usually like you're already attacking them when you start the ink spell, and then you want to run up to them. You don't really want to run up to them as Clinks if you're not invisible. So we banned Ember Spirit. That one was pretty meditated, I suppose. So we think that they're going to ban Lich, and I think they ended up banning Lich. It's pretty clear. If they didn't ban Lich, we would take it for sure. Although I can't really remember what happened in this game. They actually banned Wind Ranger, and that's definitely one of GH's best heroes. So Lich was on the table, we're like, alright, let's take Lich.
Ten seconds to pick. 5 seconds. Radiant team are now picking.
And they take Lich from us, so I'm pretty salty about this at this point, but I probably should have seen this coming. Lich works really well with their draft because he gives a ton of physical damage reduction, which is great against Clinks. But also it helps Centaur catch up to them. You put the Frost Shield on Centaur, and he just run at you, and it's much easier to get the hoof stop if you slow them down. So this Lich pick is really good for them.
Hurry.
So we decided to go with Sven early on. So a nice, it's a pretty decent like double Stormbolt combo with the Grimstroke, and also with the in lane you can get the Stormbolt into an Ink Spell, and that's a lot of damage coming out from the Grimstroke Sven combo. It's so we're not sure if we want to run the Grimstroke as a 4 position or a 5 position, but we definitely want to lane the Sven and the Grimstroke together. So at this point we're looking for a support who can go with the Clinks, and also someone who can benefit pretty well from the Soulbind. So there's a few options on the table. Obviously Shadow Shaman and Lion are pretty good choices, but one of the things we were concerned about is whether or not we had enough beef to our lineup. Because Clinks and Grimstroke are pretty squishy. If we pick another int hero, they're pretty squishy as well. And they pick PA, which like definitely is a big issue for us. And also PA Lich, very difficult to deal with the PA once you get BKB. With all this evasion, even in the late game, you get the... with the Frost Shield, it's hard to like pierce through all this damage reduction against the PA. So this PA pick was pretty good, I would say.
5 seconds.
So I feel at this point I felt like Lion and Shadow Shaman were kind of off the table because they would just get instantly blown up the second PA gets BKB. So we're gonna go with something a little bit creative this time. If I don't remember when I picked this or how long this pick takes, but trying to build the suspense here. The other thing is we're trying to figure out who our mid should be, because we want someone who can get active early with the clinks, because Sven, he wants to farm for a while. Hopefully go for like a max cleave build and then hit the jungle, get 2 or 3 items with the including blink. So you want these like small items on Sven, the Echo Saber, maybe a Mask of Madness, and then into a blink. Probably not Mask of Madness and Echo Saber, you just pick one and then you go for the blink afterwards, and that's when you want to start fighting. Before then, it's Farm Fest City for Sven, so we need a mid who can play aggressively. We also want a support who can play aggressively, so I picked Witch Doctor for myself. It's pretty nice to have the double cask. It adds to the chaos of a team fight, and also it does a ton of damage early on. Although, as I discovered in this game, because I thought this worked but it doesn't, PA can actually dodge the Death Ward attacks. Maybe I'm just a noob and I should have known that from the get-go, but it's like a spell, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, maybe she can't dodge it, but it turns out you can, so that didn't go well for me this game at all. So they banned Razor as the last ban for them, and I think that makes sense. PA definitely struggles a lot against Razor, because even though you're very burst heavy, if you do lose your damage, and you lose your damage pretty fast, because PA's stat growth isn't very high, so you need a lot of plus damage to make her crit hard. So we banned the sniper instead. At this point, we kind of were thinking about Storm Spirit, so a hero who could get active early, but another big problem we were having was like, we needed someone to group up around before the Sven got active, because before then we don't really have a frontliner, so it's like we could either go with Storm, or we could either go with DP. So we ended up going with DP here. It takes us a while, but we're just like talking it out, because anti-mage, the problem is anti-mage is still on the table, and even though they already have a PA can like sort of go mid. We're kind of worried about that still, because an early levels on PA is a pretty big deal as well. And we end up going with DP. And I'm feeling like relatively confident about the draft so far. We've got this like, you know, the big bad DP to group up around, and it gives us like a clear path to win the game. It's like, you know, whenever DP's ulti's up, let's group around DP, let's take some towers with the DP ulti, and then, you know, split up again, find some farm, and then, you know, it's a rinse and repeat process. The game plan is very simple with DP. But as you'll see in a moment, we kind of get really screwed over by this DP pick. So one of the problems with our lineup is that without the Sven right now, our lockdown is really limited. If we find the IO with +1, Witch Doctor is great for that, and that's also a big reason why I pick Witch Doctor here, right? IO is always tethered to someone, so it's not too difficult to get a big cask off, but at the same time, it's very unreliable. So I think Witch Doctor, like in my opinion, Witch Doctor I felt was like a pretty good choice here, but maybe we could have picked Storm instead, someone to get really active early on. Another big problem with Storm is that you don't normally want to be the first one to go in. We do have Clinks to kind of just like harass targets, maybe bait them in a bit, but Clinks is super squishy as well, so it's not the best. We don't have a traditional offlaner, so that's kind of why we picked DP, someone to build like these tankier items to group up around, because Clinks is not that hero, and neither is Sven, to be honest, if he's the carry. So I felt that DP really fit into our lineup, but Amazon FishingBoatV2, they're gonna pick Storm Spirit here, and we saw this and it was like, yikes. We should have picked the Storm Spirit ourselves. I had a few regrets. after we saw the Storm Spirit, because our only lockdown for him is the silence on DP. It's really easy to dodge the waifu from Grimstrike, so even though it's not disjointable, he can kind of work his way around it throughout the fights. Once he gets BKBs, we don't really have a whole lot to stop him. So I think we kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the lockdown in this game. But that's not always an issue. If we just like group up into a death ball, then like lockdown doesn't really matter, because then you can just like zone people out with the exorcism, and they don't really want to fight into you. So that was kind of our game plan going into the game. Just like, we don't need to chase for kills as long as like we're still getting objectives with the Death Prophet ulti. Death Prophet was a big part of our lineup in this game. So Tree with the max level IO, I didn't even notice that, but turns out he's an IO spammer. Oh, actually, yeah, I do remember talking about this. But let's introduce the teams. On the side of Facebook Mid or Newsfeed, we've got Maybe plus CTY on the Clinks, myself, Vintage, on the Witch Doctor, GH on the Death Prophet, Rawhawk on the Sven, and ABC on the Grimstrike. The side of Amazon FishingBoatV2, we've got Tree on the IO, Gundam on the Lich, Gunden on the Storm Spirit, Batman on the Centaur Warrunner, and Pika on the Phantom Assassin. So one thing we decided to change up already. I'm normally the position 5 player for my team, and I'm still playing position 5. I bought all the wards, bought a bunch of tangos for my mid player as well. But I'm playing in the off lane because the Grim Sven lane is a lot stronger than Witch Doctor Sven, and so at this point, I'm trying to see who we're up against right now. PA's hidden herself in the trees pretty well, but it doesn't really protect you against being seen on the minimap because, oh, actually it does. Look at that. But they don't see us either, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. So there's like 2 things I'm looking out for. If we decide to fight here early on, then I'm going to skill Cask. But if we don't fight here, I'm not like too fussed. I'm not too scared of this like Lich PA lane. So I'm actually going to level Maledict first if we don't fight here. So it decides we're going to back off here. Bot lane, the Stormbolt onto the Centaur, and Tree still manages to pick up the bounty runes. So a bit of a wasted Stormbolt there. So it's going to be 2 for 2 bounty runes. Rawhawk lost a lot of life doing that though, so it's going to have to eat some of the tangos. So I've decided that I'm going to skill Maledict at level 1, because with the steering arrows, it's a lot of damage onto the PA. The benefit is that Clinks, he can do a lot of damage to the PA during the Maledict without drawing aggro. So he's just going to spam the steering arrows on the PA, and she's going to have to respond to this. So, I mean, she like literally has to step aside in the lane. All she can do is last hit with daggers, because otherwise she is just going to take a ton of damage from the Maledict plus the steering arrows. In the mid lane, this is, I would say, more Storm favored these days than it used to be, especially, I've mentioned in the past. First Blood down bot though, and looks like an X-Ball Stormbolt combo. It's a Stormhammer combo. It's working as intended. I think this is definitely Storm favored these days because more Storms are going for the early point in Electric Vortex, so it's pretty risky for the DP to get close with a Spirit Siphon that way. And this is kind of what I was talking about. PA feeling a lot of heat from the Maledict and Searing Arrow combos. But I mean, Storm and DP getting a ton of last hits early on. Storm, he pushed the lane in super early, so DP has to last hit under tower, which is not that easy, but DP has a pretty decent amount of base damage, so it's definitely harder on certain heroes, but not this one. And Clinks, he actually gets taken out here. He just gets jumped by the PA and the Lich, and Witch Doctor's gonna go down as well. So a bit of a blunder there from the side of Facebook. They just got a little bit too aggressive, and the PA gets a double kill. Oh, I think Lich got one of them. But it's a double kill at top, so that's not good. And for some reason, Clinks, he tried to TP home earlier, but now he has to walk back to the lane. I feel like this is where we lost the lane, to be honest, even though bot is going pretty well, but now they're like pretty out of mana. Grimstrike's completely out of mana. Sven has enough mana for one more Stormbolt, but I feel like this really put a big dent in our momentum in this lane, to be honest. Because now PA almost a level ahead of the Clinks right now, and it's going to be a long time before we get level 3 on our heroes. And now Lich with the Frost Shield, so he leveled Frost Never at level 1 actually, and that's why we were able to get so much damage on the PA early on. But he leveled Frost Shield at level 2, and this really like put a dent in the amount of harassment we could put on the PA. And I'm trying to like contest the pull here, just make sure they don't get it. But I also saw that my lane partner blocked the creep camp anyway. So mid lane a little bit storm favored right now. It's maybe it's a little bit easier to get last hits with the overload as well. So with the early point electric vortex, the DP can't really get too close, otherwise it's kind of risky. Storm gets a D ward as well, so that's pretty big for him because there's a lot of experience from the wards now. Top lane, yes, this is what happened. I dropped the Maledict on PA, but the Frost Shield comes out straight away, and like the cooldown is around the same, so the Frost Shield's always up when I have Maledict. It's super annoying to deal with, so maybe I was thinking maybe I should go for Gundam instead, but it's still really hard to get kills. I've also put the second point in Maledict to try and double down on harassment, but I don't think it really works out here, to be honest. The Frost Shield just negates too much damage from us. Although, like, PA is still pretty low. I mean, she's definitely struggling a little bit in this lane. At least, like, falling behind the Sven a bit. And Sven also has a kill to his name as well, though actually PA has her own kill. But I think Sven's up on last hits a little bit, and net worth. So, double damage popped for the Storm Spirit.
Many thanks.
And Gundam being a bro, snapping up the PA, which is really annoying, and I'm gonna get taken out here because I'm completely out of position. These casts don't really help, and Pika's taking like no damage here from the searing arrows because of the Frost Shield. I was trying to juke the PA out a little bit, but there wasn't really a whole lot I could do. She's still not gonna go down either, but that's okay for me because I died before the 5-minute mark, but I'm gonna respawn in time as well, so I'm like not too fussed about it. I managed to pick up at least one of the bounty runes, and it's gonna be 3 bounty runes going the way of Facebook. And I think I kind of fucked up here a little bit. I ended up going mid to drop a ward for the DP, but I didn't see that there was a... No, I think I did see that there was a sentry here. But then I kind of left the Clinks alone. I wanted to get some experience, but I should have returned to the lane, because now... you're gonna see what happens. The Lich spots me out. I didn't realize they had an obs ward on this side, and Storm hits level 6 at the 5:30 mark, and I wasn't really expecting that because I saw the DP's level and I was like, oh, he's still level 5, so maybe the Storm won't be. And then I ended up getting taken out. So that was 2 back-to-back deaths for me, and Clinks is just getting jumped as well. Doesn't use his invis. Should be okay. So I think like I royally fucked up here, and it was not good. Clink's now left alone at top. I mean, overall this game is still pretty close, but I really wanted Clinks to have a really good game this time, but it doesn't seem like he's having it. He's doing okay in last hits, and I guess okay in net worth. He's matching the centaur, but I think Clinks needs to get a really good start. We wanted to really shit on this PA in the lane, but we're not pressuring her as hard as I expected to. And I just dropped this obs ward really deep in the jungle, so I want to see where Storm is. If Storm is not in mid and is not here, he's ganking bot, and that's exactly the case. And here it is, Storm's here. He's a level 6 now. He gets the vortex onto the creep, but so it's not going to be able to achieve very much. A nice 2-man stomp from Batman will slow down this gank a little bit, and Batman turning on the retaliate stacks, and he does a lot of damage right now. So it looks like nobody's going to die here. He's a 3 for 3, but not going to be able to convert any kills. And now it's just the Clinks solo against PA and Lich, which was really bad for us because Clinks, like I said in the draft, he can get overwhelmed pretty quickly, and now there's a dust on the Lich as well, so it's going to be much more difficult for this Clinks to get away from jump from the PA. So it's not good. And Storm There's no, we don't have silence on the DP right now. I didn't realize that. I should have clicked on the DP because I dropped the Maledict on Storm expecting to try and be able to get some kills on him, but he didn't end up being the case, and Clinks goes down as well, so just what I was talking about, the dust, and then PA jumps him. There's not a whole lot that the Clinks can do to defend himself early on. No burning army yet, and somehow PA ended up getting level 6 before the Clinks did, even though Clinks had a solo lane for a while. So this is like already some bad news bears for us. I was kind of feeling under the pressure at this point.
Dire's middle tower taking damage.
We're trying to get a kill on the PA now, but I feel like it's really difficult for us. I'm still level 3, so even if I buy the tome at 10 minutes, I'm probably not going to get level 6 at this rate. And it's 4 heroes top now. DP's come top, which means mid is completely free, but DP is level 6, or level 8 actually, with an arcane rune, so this is a good time to pop Exorcism, and with the Clinks he can still take the tower pretty efficiently, so we're trying to zone out the enemy team here, and oh, I didn't see this ward at all. Okay. But the Exo is popped, and Storm is going to be able to free farm mid. DP is going to eventually fall behind in levels, although somehow DP's managed to make it ahead in levels, even though Storm got a solo kill. Storm with a big rotation at bot, didn't get anything out of it. So Rockhawk, he's trying to defend this tower by himself, but it's up against a Storm Spirit, so it's pretty scary to go up against him. There's nothing really stopping the Storm from just jumping. If you can dodge the Storm Bolt with a zip, that's like a free kill. But GH eventually takes the tower with the Exorcism, so this is kind of what I was talking about, like what our game plan wanted to be. It was just group up with the Death Prophet when it shows Exorcism and go. Clinks, unfortunately, because we had 4 heroes top, he's still level 5, finally hits level 6, but the only person he can really kill is the IO, because Lich with the Frost Armor is pretty difficult to kill. You just run perpendicular to the Burning Army, and then IO can also tether out of there, so it's really hard for this Clinks to find kills on the supports. The best he can do is try and pressure them a little bit to force them into bad positions, or just force them to retreat. So ABC, he TP's bot, and it looks like he's trying to find something. The 10-minute bounty runes are coming up, but this is super risky for him. Clinks, he's going to be able to steal one of the bounty runes, so it's going to be 2 for 2 bounty runes, but looks like Grimstrake's going to give up his life for the cause. Not really worth it for him. The Soulbind connects, but it's he's already dead. And Clinks, he tries to get the courier, but instead he's going to maybe go down here. He goes invisible. There's no dust anywhere nearby. Lich isn't going to be able to make it in time, so Clinks, he's home free. But now it's going to need a big rotation to defend bot. The siege creep is on its way, and Batman is able to push the lane in right now. And this whole time, PA finally catching up on farm. She wasn't doing too well early on, but is taking over the Sven. Sven going for a max clear field this time, so he's looking to farm, which means he's not going to be very active on the map right now. But all the supports now level 6, except for Lich, but he just uses the tome now. And bot lane, I mean, they tried to get the Ink Swell onto the Centaur, but it just didn't really work. The Clinks wasn't invis. I think there was a bit of miscommunication there. I kind of remember that happening. And Rockhawk, he's TP top. He's just trying to take the farm up here. And I'm just trying to make sure that they don't have any wards up here to, you know, jump the Sven. Or make them less confident to dive the Sven. So bot lane. The only way this kill can happen is if the Ink Swell happens while the Clinks is invis. But Grimstroke, he went for a max Stroke of Fate build, so the Ink Swell isn't even that good. The cast range is tiny, the damage is pretty minimal, and the stun duration isn't very long either. So it's not really the build I was thinking when we picked Grimstroke. Maybe I should tell ABC about this afterwards, but my current plan with the Grimstroke Clinks was to put the Ink Swell on Clinks when it was low, but the Stampede comes out, but the Soulbind doesn't actually connect onto the Centaur, but Centaur, he's trapped here by himself, but there's no stuns left, so maybe he's going to be able to get out of here. Ink Swell's on cooldown for a long time, and Batman will actually be able to take out Clinks before he goes down. Clinks with only 900 HP gets chopped down by the double edge.
tower is taking damage.
So a bit of a mistake there. Exorcism is popped, and we're just trying to pressure this tower as much as we can. But this Lich armor is so annoying. It's already maxed it out, so 60% physical damage reduction. It's going to make it a lot harder to farm, to take these towers. And Rollcork also in a bit of trouble here. Storm, he zips in with a long-range electric vortex, and he takes out Rollcork. So that's a pretty big kill for Amazon. But and meanwhile, this bot tower, Exorcism's run out, and this tower's not even dead yet. Batman gets cast and maledicted, but there's no mana left for a death ward on the Witch Doctor, so it's going to be okay. Facebook, they have to back out now. No more Exorcism, which means it's time to go back to farming. And Clinks, he's so poor, going for Ags first, which I was not happy about this decision, to be honest. I wanted him to go for like some sort of lockdown item. Even an ATOS would have been fine. A Diffusal would have been okay, but he decides to go straight for an Ags, and it's a pretty tough build up. It doesn't really help you in any way, and it also doesn't really pair well with the Grimstroke. If you went Diffusal or ATOS, the double Diffusal or double ATOS, I would have been pretty happy with that. We also like don't have a long distance way to catch the Storm Spirit. DP also not going for an ATOS, which I was pretty salty about myself. And just gonna die here. I was just trying to buy time for this tower, but I was expecting to die. I think maybe DP could have gone ATOS this game, because I mean Storm, he got silenced there, but there was no follow-up. It was a bit too deep. But Exorcism up again in 30 seconds. I think ATOS is like pretty good still on DP, or even Yules. Like a Yules into silence would have done pretty well for us this game, in the early game, I think. We just didn't really have a way to catch the Storm, to be honest, right now. Like, we have to land a silence, which the range is pretty big, I guess. You can maybe get it from Fog, but Sven, he's gonna go down here. A big Death Ward onto the Centaur, and Witch Doctor will take out the Centaur, but Gundam with a DD rune is gonna cause so much havoc here, and he's gonna get a triple kill. Oh, there's 3 heroes down from Facebook, so a pretty bad fight for them. Although Pika might go down to these Skelebros. And Lich with the backstab chain thrust takes out the Clinks. So that's 4 heroes down on Facebook. A 800 gold swing going their way. And only Centaur going down. I had to use my entire Death Ward to kill him. I almost got the Storm afterwards, but the double damage just did so much there for the Storm. 15-minute bounty rinse. It's gonna be 2 for 2 again, but Rollcork, if he goes for this, it could be really risky for him. Storm's on full mana, so this could be pretty bad, but Storm decides to back up. So it's going to be 3 runes going the way of Facebook. It's not bad for them. A 2k gold lead so far, but like I mentioned, there's not much to deal with these BKBs right now. So once Storm gets BKB, once PA gets BKB, this game's gonna get super rough for Facebook. And I mean, the Warcry doesn't really help that much against PA. The Stampede in onto the Witch Doctor here, but Witch Doctor, he's staying alive. He managed to get the Voodoo Restoration before he died. So Centaur's gonna go down to a Death Ward here. Another death for the Centaur. And the Exorcism was popped, unfortunately, which is not good at all for Facebook. They're not going to be able to get any objectives out of this because there's no objectives nearby. But Witch Doctor, I can't remember if I actually get this deep ward. I think I am just put a really deep ward in. It's out of range, but it's fine. And so there's not long on the Exo left. We get a decent amount of damage on the T2 tower. So I was, all things considered, that was okay. But it could have been better. And Facebook, they need to retreat out of here. This could be getting really scary. They might get pincered. But looks like Rollcork's going to be the target of this gank here. Invis on the Storm and PA with the blur as well. So Sven in a lot of trouble. He has to TP out. But a long range zip in from the Storm Spirit. He doesn't spot out the Sven though. So Sven's going to be okay. And the Sven definitely saw this, so Clinks is coming in, but Clinks doesn't have any items yet, no way to stop the Storm Spirit. He could have gone for Orchid as well. This would have been a pretty good Orchid game for Clinks. Honestly, I just think Ags was the wrong choice to go for first on Clinks. And another Maledict onto Centaur Warrunner, but the Frost Shield makes it really hard to justify using Death Ward, so I didn't go for it. Spirit Vessel next on the Grimstroke. Makes a lot of sense against Io. You want to Spirit Vessel the Io so nothing happens. And there's not much in the way of a Stormbolt finally coming out, but the Inkswell completely whiffs, and Io, he's relocated in here. Stampede comes out to disengage, so it's not too bad. I think we're pretty happy with this. We may have to make sure we don't chase any further though, because this gets really risky. Just throwing the cask out there. Dust is popped, but not going to hit anyone. PA takes the top tower and the mid tower in the meantime, and Storm is split pushing top, so we have to take this bot tower to make it worth it. But Clinks, he's going to TP top, but he could just die to the Storm Spirit if he's not careful. Storm doesn't have detection though, and Storm, the detection comes out, but the dust comes out from the Io. Io's going for Ags first, and maybe gets instantly blown up. He's TP'd in as well. He blinks out to safety, but Vintage, he reveals himself a big cask, and the Death Ward misses the PA way too many times, and I'm gonna go down here as well. So it was a really bad fight for me to take. I didn't realize PA would do that, so PA eventually goes down, which is pretty worth it for us, I should say. But we lost the Clinks as well, so that's really not good. And Tree, he'll also maybe go down here. The Tether won't bring him into the pit. Very unfortunate for Tree there. So GH gets a double kill. It's a good pick up for him. He's pretty close to Ags now, just one component away. Clinks, he's so underfarmed right now, like just at the bottom of the barrel. Even Centaur with a Crimson Guard, he went full Crimson Guard first, and now almost has a blink as well. That's a testament to how far behind the Clinks is right now. Unable to find solo pickoffs at all, and Sven, he DCs. So it's still a pretty close game so far. It's only a 3k gold lead, but the game has consistently gotten more and more in favor of the side of Amazon. But most of this gold difference is between the Clinks and the Centaur. Everyone else is pretty close, although I'm playing like a 6th position support, so I'm just like kind of in the dumpster. But I don't feel like Witch Doctor actually needs that much farm. Once you get the Glimmer Cape, that's like more than enough, because you can still get a lot with the Death Ward. The Relocate from the PA comes out, and it looks like it's going to be pretty unsuccessful here. So DP working on an Ags, and Sven, he should probably look to get his BKB next. It seems like the next logical choice. There's not too many other items he can get at this point that'll be a big benefit. He can still go back for an Echo Saber. That's still an option, but it doesn't really help against the PA because, well, I guess it does. You get an extra hit off. A Storm with a fully completed Orchid now. This is getting super scary for Facebook. Lucky DP usually doesn't care too much about being silenced if you've already got your Exorcism out. And even with the new Axe, it's not a big deal if you get silenced, because you can just attack and get ghosts. So I gave out my life for the bounty rune. It was pretty #worth, and top, I mean, PA just diving in and killing the Grimstroke as well. So Grimstroke didn't even get it. Rollcork jumping in with a double Stormbolt, but Batman, he's in with a Blink Dagger. That's his Blink Real. A huge Chain Frost onto the Clinks and the Sven, and it's still bouncing. So looks like Centaur's gonna be the casualty here. He ends up just going down, even though there was a huge Chain Frost from the Lich, but stopping them from going for more. And meanwhile, a Relocate on the back lines with the Storm and the Io kills the Death Prophet. So Sven, he's gonna TP out of there, but that was a huge pickup. DP just now getting her Ags.
Look at it go.
PA with the Deso next, so it's gonna be pretty scary. I'm gonna pick up the 6 armor talent. I think like it's like my only chance at trying to make it through PA's burst damage, but she's still gonna crit me down pretty hard, and maybe in a little bit of trouble here. He actually has 2 components of the Ags now, so I managed to farm that much up, but just be careful not to get spotted out. One thing I noticed now that I'm watching this replay is Amazon actually have no aggressive wards. So all of their wards are very defensive. They just don't want to get picked off by the Clinks. I think this is probably the right play for them, but this whole time I've been trying to like de-ward, especially with this like Relocate gank here. I was like, alright, they surely have a ward here, but then they didn't, and I'm like, where the fuck are all their wards? It's I didn't really know what was going on, to be honest. So DP with a BKB next makes a lot of sense. It's just gonna help her tank up a little bit. She also did take the magic resist talent, but it's not that good, to be honest. 40 damage is it's like a cloak versus a claymore, right? And this is one of the problems we had. We just couldn't silence the storm spirit. The silence whiffed on the DP, and then we couldn't go for that fight anymore. It's really our only chance at getting it. But very interesting, because they didn't really they don't have vision of the other side of the river, so I'm not really sure how they saw us. Maybe it's just daytime. It's fine. And double damage on the storm. So gunned him. He's gonna go for a bloodstone next. That's pretty normal stuff. But the Deso is done on P8 now, and they're going to go for bot tower. And we haven't had a chance to move with the Exorcism for a while. Storm, he blinks in, he zips in aggressively. A long duration silence on the Storm Spirit, but he's going to make it out of here. Not much to stop him. And Stampede onto the Witch Doctor, but Witch Doctor, he might make it out. He's got the Voodoo Restoration turned on. So a Death Ward from the high ground onto the Centaur, and Centaur's going to get taken out here by the Maledict. So GH actually gets the kill here, and the Klink's ulti burned, but not going to be able to get anything. Tree just zips out of there with the tether. So Centaur going down again. A buyback on the Grimstroke, actually. Wait, did that happen? No, it didn't. Never mind, what am I saying? And Sven, he blinked forward aggressively. He's going to take out the IO as well. So pretty good pickups for Facebook. But they had to burn Exorcism again, and they didn't get an objective out of it. So that's a pretty big loss for them. That's another 110 seconds without Exorcism. So Centaur gonna go for a Shiva's Guard next. Not the item you see too often on Centaur, to be honest. He doesn't really need the intelligence. I feel like if you were gonna go for an armor item, you would go for like Lotus Orb or AC instead. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with Shiva's. It's still a pretty good item. The minus attack speed is pretty nice. 15 armor, and now you can spam out those hoof stomps every single wave and not have to worry too much about mana issues. Klink's almost done with his axe, where he's 3/4 of the way to the axe, and I mean, Klink's isn't that kind of hero who can catch up, right? He doesn't farm very fast. Rawkhawk gets relocated on, he's going to get taken out as well. So it's just being caught out of position here, and Klink's, he's going to spot out the Centaur, but Skelebros come out. Dust comes out onto the Centaur. It looks like Centaur, he's going to get Death Warded here, but a Chain Frost comes out. Centaur, he's going to lose his life to the Death Ward, but he's still going to take out the enemy team with him. And Facebook, they're going to lose 4 heroes here. Looks like they might even lose 5. ABC with a big ink swap managed to stun the PA, and DP taking the gank, and she's gonna stay alive here. Manages to get the PA kill, and Gundam also in a lot of trouble, goes down as well. A big turnaround for Facebook, but Storm, he's gonna zip in very aggressively, but he's out of mana, just barely not being able to get there in time. So not factoring in the Sven kill, that's a 2k gold swing going the way of Facebook. DP just being the king of the hill right now, and that was without Exorcism. So Facebook, they should try and make an opportunity to but all the lanes are pushed in for them, so it's really hard for them to get any objectives. And Amazon are doing a really good job of keeping the lanes shoved in. They have way better wave clear than us. Klinks can't wave clear for shit. His Skelebros don't attack creeps, whereas PA can more or less one-shot the creeps with a dagger if she gets a crit, and Storm as well, and Centaur. Like, all 3 cores can push out the lanes really quickly, whereas only 2 of ours can. But the Grimstroke can push out the lanes as well, but he puts himself in a lot of danger by doing so. He's got a blink already, so maybe trying to get a blink soulbind. And one of the important things, if you do manage to link the Storm to someone, he can't zip for the duration of the soulbind. But until then, he's pretty free to roam as he wants to. Double damage on the PA, going for a BKB next. So Amazon, they're gonna step on the brakes for a little bit and just wait for the BKBs to come out. This is gonna be their big timing. Gundam also going for a BKB next, and it's pretty normal stuff. Sven and DP also going for their own BKB, so this will be pretty big for them. These heroes are all going to get BKB around the same time, so we're going to see this really awkward fight where everyone has 10-second BKBs. Big zip in from Gundon, and he's going to get a solo kill on the Clinks here. Just that awkward, not letting him escape with the invis. And Rockhawk, he blinks in aggressively, gets the Stomp Bolt onto PA, and PA is going to go down here, so a trade for the Clinks on the PA, very worth it for Facebook.
Too much on luck and too little.
And Storm, he's not even going to go for a BKB, he's going for a Hex first. Not feeling too threatened here. I mean, the only things to stop him are the silence from the DP and the Phantom's Embrace. Everything else takes way too long. The Storm Hammer, you can definitely dodge the projectile. Even the Ink Swell takes way too long. If you have to charge up the Ink Swell, right? They have to be in the Ink Swell for a while, and if they're not, the stun duration is really short, so it's not very worth it. Oh, I should have known there was a ward there. That was a bad idea for me. So Clinks now with an Axe, going for a mid. Oh, actually, no, not yet. What am I talking about? He's going to go for a Medallion next. I would have liked to see, like, just anything but Axe first to help him contribute. I would have been okay with seeing the Medallion first, to be honest. Just letting us fight a little bit earlier, because Clinks right now, he just doesn't really have an impact this game. 1-7-7. And Storm zipping in again. He showed himself for a brief moment in the lane, and Storm just blew him up. 16 Bloodstone charges now. And, I mean, if we're split up like this, there's not much that we can do against the Storm Spirit. So, Grimstroke gonna go for an Atos next. Much needed, but if DP went for it, it could have come out a lot earlier. But that being said, DP may not have won some of the fights she did win earlier on. So, Amazon, they're gonna go for Roche now. Facebook, they have no idea this is happening, but you look at Grimstroke's TPing mid. And Facebook, they kind of have an idea that this is happening, but they're not able to confirm. And the Roche is getting pretty low. It's about half life. Pika just gonna solo it from inside the pit. These spirits are pretty obvious, but we don't actually see them. So it looks like Amazon, they're gonna be able to get this Roche without much contest from Facebook. And it's going to be a big timing for the PA. She's going to pick up the Aegis, and she's going to get a BKB and 1,000 gold, so less than 1,000 gold. So once she gets it, it's going to be very easy for her to completely snowball the fights. Even if she loses her first life, she can BKB on the second life, and then you can't really deal with her. Or even the other way around, like we have to blow everything to kill her in the first life. No one really on the way. Rockhawk's finally thinking about an MKB. He finished his BKB, so did the DP. So Storm's gonna go back for a full BKB, just buys it outright, and PA's gonna have her BKB in a little moment here. And so I'm trying to find this kill on the PA right now, but she's not really showing herself. Sven sees the PA, but doesn't throw the Storm Bolt. Thinking there might be other heroes behind, but she was all alone, so Rockhawk playing a little bit scared here. But he has a BKB, so maybe he shouldn't be that scared. And Amazon, they're gonna go for this bot tower. It's not too healthy, so it should be pretty easy to take out. I don't think Facebook is going to be able to respond in time here. Although the fort comes out, it definitely indicates they want to fight here. But Storm, he zips in aggressively onto the Grimstroke, and Grimstroke gets silenced. He's going to get taken out instantly. A big blink forward from Storm Sven, but he doesn't catch anyone. The IO gets caught out here, silenced and taken out. So the IO for a Grimstroke, but that was Grimstroke's dieback. So he's going to be down for a very long time, and the heroes go down, and Exorcism is blown again. Working on a Octarine core to try and reduce the cooldown a little bit, but it's not good for Facebook at all. P8 with the BKB now, so this is definitely Amazon's opportunity to go. DP is going to try and push this lane in as far as she can, but there's not really a way she can put any pressure on objectives. This Axe is finally done on the Clinks. Feels like forever. He's actually not too far behind the Centaur, to be honest. He's like, the goal difference has been about the same since the early game, but this is still not good. Clinks wants to be ahead, and he hasn't had the opportunity to do so. So, DPL, it's up in 70 seconds. This is still a big window for Amazon to go for a push. Stomp going for a Hex, going back for a Hex, and he's still got a lot of gold. I feel like he just bought his BKB, but he's suddenly got like 2.6k gold, which is pretty absurd. Pika will finally take down this bot tower with the Desolator. Should go down in 3 swipes. And Invis popped by Gundam. Let's see what he's able to find. It's pretty scary for everyone here. Clinks, he reveals himself with the Witch Doctor, so the cast comes out. This could get really scary for Witch Doctor. He doesn't go down. The sentry, the Upsword goes down, and Storm, he zips in bot onto the Grimstroke, but he gets silenced early on. He's got a BKB, so not going to use it straight away. Finally uses the BKB, but they get soulbound together with the PA, so that's really bad. Storm still can't zip for a while. PA loses her first life. A big death ward onto the IO, takes out the IO as well. PA, she's stuck here by herself, so the BKB popped by the PA, but PA, she's got to run. The MKB's not quite done yet on the Sven, but he's going to blink forward in 2 seconds. The BKB is almost out by the PA. The blur expires, and blink forward again from Rawhawk, and they take out the PA. A huge fight from Facebook. They managed to take out the Aegis and Atos onto the Storm as well. Storm, he's going to go down here. That was a huge fight by Facebook. 4k gold swing, and that's a 5k gold swing going the way of Facebook. Huge pickup for them. Storm, he zipped in, but then wasn't able to... He didn't pop his BKB early enough, to be honest. He got silenced straight away, but then wanted to hold his BKB for a while, but ended up getting soulbound, and then he couldn't do anything. So this is a big opportunity for Facebook. They can get at least this tier 2 tower, maybe try and force some buyback, so if they go too gung-ho, this could get really scary for them, but GH, he has Exorcism, so this is the time to go if you're Facebook. It's very risky, but this is probably the best opportunity you have to put some pressure on the tower. And Storm, he buys back. He's already level 25, so with the Storm Remnant talent, he's going to be able to push away Facebook. So Storm buys back. This is a pretty big opportunity for Facebook if they can get out of here and then kill the Storm again. But Storm, that was his first death all game, so he was difficult enough to kill the first time. It's going to be pretty hard to kill him again. Let's see what Facebook is able to do so. I mean, if they can kill the Storm, that's definitely a win condition for Facebook. But level 25, it's going to be really difficult to push into Storm now while he's still alive, because he can always just zip down the lane and instantly clear the creep wave. Clink's going to TP top again. The 35-minute bounty runes are up soon, so Clinks is going to try and acquire these at the top runes. He needs to go to the one that Storm isn't going to, though. So he's probably just going to go for this top one here. So 3 bounty runes at the 35-minute mark, and this gold lead is pretty much neutralized. It was a 10k gold lead not much more than a moment ago, but then Facebook, they've managed to drag it back to just a 1k gold lead for Amazon. MKB not done on the Sven, so this PA's tank ability is going to go down significantly here. To note though, MKB is not really the kind of item you want to buy on Sven, but it's a necessity up against PA. Doesn't seem like anyone's interested in the Bloodthorn anytime soon, or a Silver Edge, so thanks, he's going to get called out. He gets silenced, but he's going to be okay. So Storm not bringing a detection with him, and Clinks will finally be able to get away this time. Gets the invis off before the silence comes out. So quick fingers on maybe. Shiva's guard done on the Death Prophet. So finally gonna go for a Hex, and then that'll help with the Storm Spirit problem and even the PA problem as well. So things have turned around a lot in the last few minutes. IO with an Ags now, so gonna spawn spirits every few seconds. Also took the 75 hero spirits damage. You can't underestimate this. This is, each one of these balls does a ton of damage. I actually can't remember how much they do. PA is pretty scary now. Basher going for an AC. Just trying to get Tank up a little bit against the Sven, because she is definitely going to get chopped down here if she's not careful. Klink's going for a Solar Crest next. It's going to help tank up the DP a little bit more. I like this item pickup from the Klinks. I still kind of feel like he's missing a lot of lockdown. Rawkhawk, he's going to try and look for the Storm. But Storm gets the BKB off before the Storm Bolt comes out. So a bit of a wasted God Strength there. That would have been a huge opportunity if they were able to pick up that kill. But unfortunately not doing so. And Roche is not up yet. It might spawn in 15 seconds. But that's a low end spawn. So Facebook not going to be able to get anything out of this. So Centaur, he's going to go for what looks like a hood and then into an Ags. I mean, Ags would be pretty nice for him, because if the Storm ever does get caught out, you can just use the Stampede, and then Storm can... I mean, Storm's got a lot of HP right now, and it's going to be pretty hard to take him down with 40% damage reduction. So this Centaur Axe is going to be pretty handy in the late game, even though Sven still does a ton of damage in the late game. So it's still very possible that Sven would just blow people up, but seems unlikely. And Storm, he zips in aggressively, gets an Electric Vortex onto Grimstroke, so Grimstroke's going to go down here. He's working on a Hex, but he's very far away from it. Pretty big pick off there. And Amazon, they see Facebook's whole team. They're all in plain sight. And this is really bad. Facebook are surrounded. The Stampede comes out with a two-man stop as well. The Chain Frost will finish off the Klinks and the Witch Doctor here. And DP, she's blown her ulti. She's gonna go for the Centaur, but Centaur, he gets Glimmer Cape, so he's going to be able to make it out tree. In a little bit of trouble here, but DP has been pretty deep. Actually, we'll get the IO as well, but Exorcism just for the IO and Lich, it's not very good. And 3 heroes went down from Facebook as well, so just having more bodies on the field is yeah, that was not good. So I was trying to like de-ward, but I didn't know where their ward was, so I was walking up here to go put a sentry down, but then I would have got caught. I got caught out. Storm with a fully completed Hex now. Still doesn't have buyback, so still an opportunity for Facebook to take this, but Storm without only 1 death still. Just feels so difficult to take him out. DP is almost at a Hex, but she won't have buyback if she buys it. So pretty risky for GH to go straight for a Hex at this point. Solar Crest done on Klinks, but he doesn't have buyback himself. Very risky there. This is definitely the point of the game where you need a safer buyback. He looks like he's gonna spot Gundam here. Gundam zips forward aggressively, but isn't gonna be able to see the Klinks. So
That's exact.
40-minute boundary runes. This is going to be 2 for 2. Dividing the map in half. Roche is back up. It doesn't seem like anyone's interested. And Klinks, he gets spotted out. He dies in the same spot again. And Witch Doctor is probably going to go down here as well. The Stampede comes out. This is pretty big. Klinks, he's down for 60 seconds without buyback. And Witch Doctor also taken out here. I should have just left him, to be honest. Klinks, he died in the same place twice. You never want to see that happen. There's obviously still sentries here, and Grimstroke also getting picked off by the PA here. So 3 heroes dead for Facebook. This is a big opportunity for oh, Storm just barely misses out on the Sven. Oh, he actually got the Hex off, but the TP went off first. That was a bit funny, but this is not very good for Facebook, because Storm, he zipped past the Roche pit, so they see that Roche is up, they can go for it pretty quickly with the PA Deso, and the AC is done as well, so minus 13 armor on the field. Is it? It's 7 and then, oh, 7 and 5, it's 12 armor. So Facebook are going to have to play defensively for a while, and I'm not sure they can actually contest Roshan. There's a lot of vision from Amazon, so they have to smoke to go and contest this. The scan comes out, but Grimstrike, he's still down for 26 seconds, and they do need this to get the Storm Spirit, because the Soulbind was the only way to keep him locked down during the BKB. But Grimstrike, Clinks, he gets hexed instantly. He doesn't have buyback. He's not able to get the ulti off, and Sven, he blinks in aggressively. DP ulti comes out as well, but Sven, he's getting really low. He's gonna take out the PA's first life. Oh, not the PA, the Storm's first life. But Storm, he's back with full mana now, and DP is gonna go down as well. Sven bought back, but he's not able to join the fight because his TP is on cooldown, and Witch Dust is gonna take him down too. So a huge disaster for Facebook. They lose 4 heroes. Sven, it is all 5 heroes, and Sven buys back. Witch Doctor forced to buy back instantly here, and DP also forced to buy back as well. It's 3v5, although they managed to get the Storm Spirit's Aegis down this time. Storm, he's got buyback again now, so he can always just TP back into the fight, although he doesn't have boots of travel. It's like, Facebook need to stall this game out for a little bit, but if DP or Sven die, this could be a big deal. There's no God Strength for 40 seconds. He gets jumped by the PA, bashed as well, and Rockhawk, he's gonna get taken down instantly. DP gets jumped by the Storm Spirit as well. The Death Ward comes out onto the Storm Spirit, but it's not gonna be enough damage, and Facebook, they're gonna lose this game. GG is gonna be called any moment, and there you go. So, there was a few big mistakes, I think, happened there. We tried, this whole Roche Pit thing was a bit of a disaster. We weren't able to get there in time. Grimstrike was still down, and Clinks, he wasn't able to get his ulti off. That was a pretty big deal. He should have just ulti straight away into the pit instead of just trying to scout, because we scanned, we knew they were in there, so I'm not sure why he didn't just throw the ultimate out. But FishingBoatV2, they'll take a fairly convincing victory. To be honest, I really, after this game, I was like, we should have picked Storm Spirit instead of DP. But the next game will be coming up shortly. Honestly, I thought we would we had some opportunities to win this game. I think we were kind of pretty far behind after the laning phase. Clinks had a disastrous laning phase after I left him solo for a while, so that was a bit of a mistake for me. Then we made a pretty big comeback here. Look at this. We managed to turn a 10k gold advantage into just a 1k gold advantage. Forced the Storm to buy back, but we just weren't able to kill him again. So this game just like suddenly ended because we just didn't have buybacks. So bit unfortunate, but hopefully in game number 2 we can do a little bit better.